But so far, my life has not changed all that much except watching some very entertaining footage of California and cars burning. Other than that, Waymo hasn't done all that much for me. VR, Google Glass. Please raise your hand if you've used one of those in the past 6 months. We got 1 and 2. And we are the most technical people on the planet. And yet nobody got anything from it, and Apple's putting out $5,000 devices expecting this to make the world change. Now again, none of these things are going to go away and as if they never existed, or they might, but they didn't change the world as people had expected. Tech and health wearables. How many of us are wearing tech and health wearables, and how much of your life has this changed? Because they said when they were coming out that this was going to change everything. We will be connected, etc. You guys know where I'm going. Anybody know what this acronym stands for? Okay, have any of us actually used it in the past few years? We got 3, 4, 5. All right, so we are nerds. We can all admit it, we're nerds. But nobody else besides us has actually used it, and I can't hear.
It doesn't line up with all the other things on the list.
Why? Why do you say that? I'm going to come back to this soon. Okay, fair enough. And it's a protocol. I get it. Fine. We'll come back to it. And I'll tell you what I actually mean, okay? Because when this came out, they didn't demonstrate or advertise it the way it is now. And I'm good. We're getting some passion. We're getting people excited. I'm on the right track. All right. Smart homes. We're going to change everything. And companies are spending billions of dollars going to smart homes. And our homes are a little bit smarter than they were when the internet was first invented. But they're not that different. And I don't know if you take a poll of all the houses in Borough Park, but I'm very curious to hear what the actual statistics or how many homes actually have so much smart equipment that our homes are much smarter than they used to be. I don't think it's the case. My fridge has not ordered me milk in a very, very long time. Am I the only one? Drone deliveries. Anybody get one of those recently? Drone delivery. Do you get one? You got a drone delivered. All right. Fair enough. All right. And how about blockchain and NFTs? Blockchain and NFTs. Again, billions and billions of dollars pouring into these technologies. And finally, this is my favorite one. Can you all take a breath for this one? Has anybody here used the metaverse recently? Because I promise your grandchildren will have no idea what you were talking about, and what the Havamina was, why people thought that that was going to change everything. And to the great disappointment of our friend Mark Zuckerberg, that is not something that changed. So is AI any different? Is AI any different? Is AI any different? I got a few no's, so that's fine. Let's debate. AI is vastly different. Now, I thought like everybody else. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's a cool gimmick. Somebody put up like an Upsharon poem. That was the first time I'd ever heard that there was such a thing as AI, and I read the poem, like, really? That's what I'm excited about? They took the internet, they jumbled it up a little bit, and made a poem. I was not impressed. Let's see. I venture that actually AI is vastly different than anything else the world has seen, probably since the advent of the internet. And when the internet was invented, nobody understood what it was going to do. AI, I think, is much, much, much different. Number one, writing. I would venture to say that there is nothing that you have read, unless it was a holy book and it was Shabbos, there's almost nothing that you have read that was actually written solely by a human being in a very, very long time. Okay, I am not much of a LinkedIn influencer, but the ones in 6 months that I put up a post these days, it's still being edited by AI. And everything that you're reading today, all the news articles and all the statistics sometimes are made up by AI, and there are some court cases where the actual law notes were all made up by AI. So there you go. I think writing, almost nothing is by research. Tremendous amounts of research. You can find things with using AI that you cannot accomplish any other way. When I use Google now, I am shocked by how crude it is. It's just like, this is not accomplishing anything that I need. It doesn't understand anything I'm talking about, and it's giving me all the wrong information. That is astonishing. Anomaly detection. I've used it to find specific logs in massive files. Show me the one thing that's different in this entire file, and it will pull out incredible information. Warehousing. Amazon just announced they're preparing to lay people off because AI is taking over for a lot of functions that they need. Chat and shopping bots. I was on the phone and I was chatting with people. I'm telling you, I know this business pretty well. 20 minutes in, I was not sure if this was a human or if it was an AI bot. In the end, it was just a guy with a very monotone voice, and that's okay. But practically, that's shocking. I should know this, and I couldn't figure it out for a long time. It's getting very scary. Image and video creation, all of Hollywood is trembling because they should go out of business or vastly change very soon. Code writing is not the same as it was. Can I tell you guys what happened to me 3 days ago? I was talking to a plumber, okay, and he's a Haimashiyid with nice payas, wearing his big day kahuna, okay? He was dressed like a plumber, and he comes over and says, did you know that I built an app? And I said, what are you talking about? And he pulls out his smartphone and he shows me. I built an app. He has to manage invoices and do projections and calculations. He did code vibing, which is a new term that I hadn't heard as of a week ago, and which is basically just describe to AI what you want, and he built an app. That is astonishing. The world is not the same as it was just a short time ago. Entertainment, like we said, is very different. Let's move on to some more nefarious type things, shall we? Weapons will be very different. And it's as scary as that is, for good or for bad, that is very different. Wars are not being fought the same as they were just a year ago. And if you don't believe me, I'm about to show you. And lastly, agriculture. Do you think I'm exaggerating? Can I prove it? Let's do one at a time. Has anybody here heard of Palantir? I had almost never heard of them. Just this year, their stock surged 452%. Okay, which doesn't mean much if it's a penny stock, right? But let's keep going. 2 years, over 2 years, it's 747%. In 3 years, it's 1,567. I am not a stock trader, but I am told that that is very impressive. Can we all agree? What do they actually do? I did not know until I actually looked it up. They are known for advanced data analytics. It's been quietly powering intelligence and battlefield logistics. Was I exaggerating? Is warfare the same as it was? Since October, it has supplied battlefield-grade AI tools to Israel's Ministry of Defense. So if you're wondering how all these miraculous things are taking place, I heard a statistic that Israel had over, I believe it was 20,000 analysts just looking at Lebanon and Hezbollah. Now, you could have 20,000 analysts from today till tomorrow, but until you have an AI machine that can figure out what to focus on, it's very, very difficult to try and build any type of actual real-time action plans out of 20,000 people, I think. I'm not in the industry, but I do believe that to be the case. The Department of Defense expanded its contract ceiling from $480 million to $1.2 billion, okay? And this is not all government waste, and DOGE, I don't think, has cut this down. So they do believe that this is a very, very big deal. That is number one. So that is war. I believe war is not the same as it was. How about this? Anybody know what I'm looking at? And this is not a clip from Star Wars. This is indeed agriculture. I was in Israel not too long ago, and I was on a kibbutz. And in this farm, this guy told me, he said, did you know that currently, as you see, the farmers were walking around painting pollen onto each plant individually. And he told me, do you know why they're doing that? He said, because the bees' hives have collapsed. This is a known problem going on for a while, and we have to manually paint pollen on each individual plant that needs it. But he said, did you know that as of next year, we don't have to do that anymore? Because we have drone technology, which is coming for the next season. They will be able to detect by themselves which plant needs pollination, and it will go and paint that automatically. Is the world the same as it was a few months ago? I don't believe it is. Now, what are some of the risks? I think there are tremendous risks with AI. And I'm going to start with the risks, because that's kind of what I do. So I'm going to disappoint all of you, because you probably all want action plans, how you can make money tomorrow. First, I'm going to start off by telling you all the things you should not be doing and why you shouldn't be doing it. And I'll try to fix that in the end. Can we do that? Let me try. People don't understand how it works or its limitations. They will get very, very hurt. Okay? I tried explaining that to the plumber before he left. And, I think I kind of dashed his hopes and dreams of becoming a millionaire. So you might want to have, if you're a therapist, he's looking for somebody to talk to. Anyways, so here are some of the risks. Number one is people don't seem to know, and he did not know, that LLMs don't understand anything. They have no idea what it is they're looking at. They are literally performing some type of mathematical equation and guessing what it is you probably want to hear. That's going to cause a lot of problems, as we will soon see. They work statistically, not logically, meaning there's no logic, there's no emotion, there's nothing there. It's all actually just statistics. And finally, the more data they are trained on, the better their predictions get, meaning you can take an LLM and it could be the best one on the planet. If it doesn't have any data, it cannot produce anything. Now, what does that mean? If they need data, remember how Google lived on data because that's what it took to make sales? These guys live on data way more than Google had to. They need the data. That is a big problem for us, and let's understand how that plays out. So here are the actual risks that comes. Number one is hallucinations and bias. That is something very common. I'll do one demo of it, and you can draw your own conclusions. Data reuse. Like we said, they need your data, and what happens if they share that data with other people? Very, very common. That can happen. Malicious tools are out there. The hackers know that everyone's grabbing and feasting on these specialized new tools, just barely even reading the description, installing it, and doing things. Big problem. Deep fakes are a problem. New threats. AI is finding totally new threats that we have never seen because they're so good at analytics. Those threats are coming hard and fast. And finally, there's actual business risk. Before we all go running back to our workstations and trying to implement all the wonderful ideas we have, you need to know the serious business risk with a lot of these things. You can get excited about a product or a capability or a tool or a function, and it can cost you a lot of money to try to implement it. People come to me and say, I have a great new idea, it's going to be the next Google. And I respond to them and say, did you know that I consider a good idea to be worth how much? How much do I consider it to be worth? Anybody want to guess? Negative $250,000. That's the starting point, because that's how much it will cost you just to start getting to work on your project. After that, possibly it'll make money, but that's how much just the idea is going to be worth. So we'll talk about a little bit about those business risks. Let's start with hallucination. This is something that happened to me. I'm telling you guys, I almost fell out of my seat. Okay? I was working with a tool. It's a common cybersecurity tool known as Waza. You can look it up. It does logging and alerting. And I wanted to know what would happen if I changed the default ports on that tool. Now, I gave this presentation a few times since I demonstrated this. I'm very thrilled that it's for the first time I can talk to people who actually know what I'm talking about. So I'm very glad you guys are with me here tonight. So we're going to try changing the ports. I told ChatGPT, can I change it? And it said yes. It gave me very clear instructions how to change it, and it seemed too good to be true. So I said, okay, here's my idea. Look through Reddit, see if anybody changed their default ports and what their experience was. Okay, so I said, I'll get the hard data, and users on Reddit should actually know. After reviewing discussions on Reddit, several users, blah, 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 and it gave me key takeaways, weiter, it spit out, once again, the information same as before. So at this point, I'm very suspicious. I said, okay, give me the links so I can check them. Can I show you guys the links? It spit out the following 3 links. Now, these links, as you can see, are exactly what I was looking for. These are perfect. Now, I work in cybersecurity. What did I do before I clicked on those links? I hovered over the link. Can I just take a quick poll? How many people say hover? Okay, I'm not alone. Because I tell them I'm from New York, I say hover. I grew up, I went to Yeshiva in Borough Park. I say hover, and people yell at me like I'm going to keep doing it. If you hover over the links, I will. Why? That's complicated. We'll talk after. Okay, so these are the links that it gave me. So now I hover over the links. I will show you the links, and you tell me what happens if I go there. Should I go to these links? Now, I looked at them very carefully, and as you might see, this was exactly what I had expected. Yes? He's already saying no. I clicked on the link. I got a very, very uncomfortable pop-up. Now, I was stunned. I went back. I looked at it again. Something's very wrong. What took place? Who sees the pattern? Good. It's the ABCs. It made them up because that's what AI does. And I begged and pleaded and said, please don't lie to me. And it still lies to you. It can't do it any differently because I didn't understand well enough that this is a hallucination. It just does statistics and tries to guess what it was. Now, just to explain what actually took place, Reddit.com is real, as you can imagine. /r brings it to a thread. Waza is the actual, and I know this thread, by the way, I've gone there. When it doesn't actually match existing data, Reddit says, okay, I don't know what to do with you, so I'm just going to take you to Reddit / this username, or this username, or that username. And as you can imagine, being that 80% of the internet is inappropriate content, all 3 were inappropriate. That is astonishing. Now again, it came because my misconception that I could trust this thing, even reading my links and doing everything I wanted, still something was very, very wrong. The next one is bias. As you can imagine, because it's just making up answers, depending on what information or data you feed it, that's the type of information it's going to spit back, true or false. This is a funny conversation that happened yesterday. This guy asked, since 2016, and he's talking to Grok. Grok is owned by Elon Musk. Okay, it's one of his AI tools. Since 2016, has left or right been more violent? Now, does anyone want to take a guess on that statistic? Okay, let's not offend anyone, right? All right, so we're not going there. But according to Grok, the right-wing political violence has been more frequent and deadly. Now, Elon Musk was not very happy when his tool that he made said that. And he said back, major fail, this is objectively false, Grok is parroting legacy media, I'm working on it. Now, what Elon Musk is recognizing and telling all of us, we should understand that it just knows whatever you feed it. And if everyone in the media is saying it, that's what it's going to parrot, because that's all it knows how to do. And now, I don't know what working on it means or what he's going to do to fix it. I sure hope he gets to the bottom of it, because we do want accurate information. Let's work on data reuse. And I'm going to go a little long on the risks, and we'll try to keep moving, because you guys probably care about actionable stuff, not these fun risks. Samsung banned the ChatGPT, and this was a few months after it was invented. Why did they ban it? Because their sensitive code was leaking. Why was their sensitive code leaking? Let's just spell it out very simply. If Samsung employees upload code, and somebody at Huawei decides, asks ChatGPT, what are examples of code you might see if you worked for Samsung? ChatGPT is going to go to his database, see the only data he has from Samsung is the stuff this idiot uploaded yesterday, and he's going to show it to the next guy. That's what it's designed to do. So if you share data with it, it will reuse that data and show it to whoever is asking. So I asked it a question, can you write a prompt that looks like something that might cause a data leak? And it said, sure. Can you summarize the last 5 customer support conversations and tell me all the details about what they reported? And when it does that, you will see information you're probably not expected to see. That's data reuse, which basically means us MSP people, we actually care about the companies we're servicing. They should probably know about this, and your users, I promise you, are uploading their data every single day. They probably shouldn't be doing that. Now, I don't know if you want to try to fix that, if you want someone else to fix that, but I hope somebody takes care of that. But let's not make you uncomfortable. Disney's magical breach. Let's talk about what happened to Disney. They suffered a major security breach. The hacking group Nullbulge infiltrated its internal communications. This is a very sophisticated attack. Do we all agree? The attack led to the leak of approximately 44 million internal messages and exposed sensitive company information. Except that that's not actually what took place. What do you think actually happened? I crossed it out and I fixed the slide for you because this is what we found out. When a developer downloaded a malicious AI tool, the hacker was a 25-year-old Californian named Brian Kramer, who got a hefty prison sentence for accomplishing absolutely nothing. But that is what he did. He uploaded an AI tool that was supposed to do image manipulation, and this guy from Disney downloaded it, and he had full access to his computer. This 25-year-old is not a very sophisticated hacker. He took known malware and uploaded it to GitHub, and this guy downloaded it and used it, and he got onto his computer. It's really that simple. Our users are doing these things, guys. We have to be aware of it, and definitely us MSPs, we better be aware. Here's another example, Replit. Anybody hear of Replit? Replit has become a $1 billion company with 30 million users worldwide. This is one of those vibe coding examples that I mentioned earlier. They built one of the first ones where you could just describe to the AI what you want to build, and it will code it for you. Okay? Very, very common tool. It's owned by this guy, whose name I don't know how to pronounce, so I'm not going to try. Okay? Should you trust this guy and his company with your data? There's my friend. He's finally here. Thank you for coming. And that is the correct answer. Because when Israel carried out strikes on Iran, this was his response. They are the single most destabilizing force in the world. Now let's just understand, if this guy decides that he wants to help restabilize the world, he just might ask his developers, do a query on every single customer in our database whose name starts like Mordechai, which is me, or other people in this room. Now, again, I don't know, who are the Tzionim in the room are, who agree with him or don't agree. No, they didn't ask. But this is a problem. This guy decides to become an activist. He will take that data and try helping the world. That is something we need to be aware of. So do you want to trust these people with your information? You need to really think long and hard. Let's work on deep fakes. Can I blow your minds? Because I thought this wasn't going to be relevant for several years. This is Brett Cassidy. He's a lawyer in London for this law firm. Can I play a clip for you? Where is David? Can you kill, he's recording the audio? I have to kill the audio just for a few seconds. I don't have permission to broadcast this to the public web. That's fine. David, can you pause the audio on for a second? I'm going to play an audio clip for you. Let's do it. We will see terrible things happening. Unfortunately, there's no way around this. We are going to see a lot of people get hurt. Hopefully, we'll help raise awareness. Let's move on. There will be new threats that we've never seen before. This guy used O3, which is talking about ChatGPT, to find a brand new CVE which the world had never seen. A remote zero-day in Linux kernel SMB implementation. That means a remote zero-day the world has never seen. This was, as far as he knows, the first time that this was found by an AI. Now that's a big deal. He made this comment after he did it because he's a very well-known researcher and he wanted to publicize that this is something we should know. It's made huge leaps forward, and if you're in vulnerability research, you should start paying close attention because this means the hackers will have many 0 days coming at us hard and fast. That's something we need to know. We're going to keep going. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to skip that because it's getting late. Lastly, business risk. I warned you there was business risk. Zillow's home buying debacle shows how hard it is to use AI to value real estate. Does anybody know what happened with Zillow? Zillow lost a lot of money. How did they lose a lot of money? They opened up, based on AI, they said, you know, we have all the data on these houses, we have all the data on the buyers, all the data on the sellers. If we start buying and selling houses, we will be the kings of the world. We don't have to go down or do anything because we have Zestimate, which is their proprietary way of guessing how much a house is worth. And as long as the offer is within range of that, we know it's never off by, or it's usually not off by more than 1 or 2%, and we'll be able to make a lot of money. Was that a good idea? They shut down the program after 8 months. They had a $304 million loss. Their stock plunged, and they announced layoffs of 25% of their employees. What did they do wrong? The AI is brilliant, and it has lots and lots of information, but you know what it can't do? It can't see there's a crack in the foundation of the house. So if I'm a seller and I need to sell a house with a crack in the foundation, who is the biggest idiot that's going to buy it? Only these guys are using the most sophisticated tool in the world to try and guess how much my house is worth, but never actually laid eyes on it. They lost a fortune. If any of you have big dreams of getting rich on AI, please think about it and make sure you're going to make money and not lose $304 million. Can we do that? All right? Now, I'm all doom and gloom now. It's going to get better, I promise you. Let's talk a little bit about mitigations. What can we do? Hallucinations is nothing we can do. I don't think anybody here is building LLMs. The tools will get better, and they are getting better day by day, astronomically better, exponentially better, so that is one. Data reuse. What should you guys be doing about data reuse? And this actually is important. What should you do? If they're going to reuse your data, how do we get around that? Any ideas? Come on, we've got a lot of smart people here. Don't use the publicly available tools. You need to have an enterprise agreement with them or a private LLM. You could download the Llama or whatever you want to do, run it internally. Do not hand over your data to third party unless you understand who they are and what the risks are. Please don't do it. Yes? That's how we do it. We'll get around this. This is conquerable. Malicious tools. What should we do about malicious tools? Not installing Disney tools. You need to do a third-party assessment. Now, that's a very official term. I call it a third-party assessment because I work in cyber and we do them all the time. What should you do? Just look at the CEO's posts and see what he posts about his, profile. Are they OpenAI, which is owned partially by Microsoft, which is a multi-billion-dollar company, or is it this? He's a Jordanian national, and you might want to think twice. Do I want to do that or that? Makes a difference. Do a little bit of due diligence. Learn who's buying the product. I'm telling you guys, there's so many services today that are doing AI. They're just repackaging some tool or technology that they literally download from GitHub. They have no idea how it works or what its risks are, etc. And they have all the access that they need to do tremendous damage. Let's not do that. Deep fakes, we have to fight with awareness. Tell your friends, tell your grandparents. Honestly, no one should be having Instagram profiles with tons of pictures. Just not a good idea today. They take people's kids and their voices, and they could do horrifying things to their parents. New threats. We should be using tools. If you're in charge of coding something, we should start using the AI tools that they're using to try and pick up those threats before they do. And that's the slide that I skipped earlier. Is he kind of says if we were both doing it, then the level field would be equal, and we would find the threats, they would find the threats, we would patch them, they would patch them, and slowly but surely we can close them. He's actually excited. The guy I was listening to is Steve Gibson. Do we have any Twit fans? Security Now. There you go. It's a great podcast. If you're on a really long drive, it works very well. It's like 2.5 hours usually. And you could do 1.5. It works fine. Anyway, so it's a great podcast, but his conclusion was that eventually we'll get to a point that AI will be so good it'll take out most of the big vulnerabilities and life will get better, etc. Business risk. Do not overdo what you are planning. And I'll just give you an example. I came here preparing for you guys and I said, what would MSPs be able to deploy today that AI can revolutionize their businesses? And I found a site whose name I will not mention because I barely remember what it was. And I started looking at what they're doing with AI. Okay? And I promise you, they are so trying to over-deliver things like reassigning tickets. Is that a good idea to hand over to an AI tomorrow, reassigning your tickets? Should anybody be doing that? You're overdoing it. I promise you, no AI tool today is ready for that you can buy off the shelf. Don't do that. And don't try making a product that does that unless you really do your analysis. So here is the question I come back to. Number one, what is my opinion? Can AI do it? Is that the right question to be asking? That is a bad question. When it comes to new tech and new technology, that's not what you should be asking. And I told you I was going to come back to IFTT. Do you remember? I will tell you what IFTT actually meant when it came out, what they were promising. When I was working at a certain tech company, a certain big place, which some of you probably can guess, they had a question, okay? They are very involved in the retail space, and they can implement IFTT the same way Pizza Hut did it. Now, what did Pizza Hut do? Pizza Hut came out with a new feature that if you buy pizza from Pizza Hut and you set up the proper IFTT settings, when the pizza arrives at your door, your lights will begin flashing. Is that cool? That's very cool, right? Should this company, who you guys are probably imagining who it might be, should they implement this new technology? Now, I was at that time in more of an administrative role, and I had to help analyze what the costs would be for them to get the developers working on this advanced project, which was brand new at the time. What do you think? Should they do this? Anybody want to guess? Should they do this? No. Are you out of your mind? No way. You think when you get a package from that company that you want your lights to start flashing, how many people are going to start taking advantage of that? What? The trigger was the UPS tracking. So you would have UPS tracking, hits API. The API is connected to this customer, which is connected to these lights. They come up, the lights start turning flashing new AirPods came. How many customers are going to use that? I just asked all of you guys, like only 3 of us are still using it. So the question is, could it do it? Yes, you could do a lot of things, but should you do it? That's a very important question. Anybody involved in this business better be asking the question, should AI be doing this? And the answer is sometimes. I will now finally give you the advice that I think all of us actually should be doing. Because as I mentioned, I think AI will revolutionize everything. And I actually do believe that businesses that take advantage will become astronomically more profitable, and people that don't will get left behind relatively soon. Number 1, here's a statistic. Meetings that have notes and follow-ups are 88% more productive. Does anybody know where that fact comes from? I made it up out of thin air. But it's close enough that all of you thought that it's possibly true. So that means you should be doing this. Does anybody do this? Does anybody do this? We got one. Good. And you're the guy at the meeting that says, are you taking notes? And you have to say yes. Okay. So for all of us that are not that guy, there are AI tools that have been in production for a long time that do this. And they do a wonderful job. And they're incredible. And I'll tell you a secret. I personally speak a few languages, like English, Hebrew, and Yiddish. And it can manage all of those and still understand what I'm saying. It's amazing. So if any of you speak Yiddish by any chance, you should know that. It can do it for you. It will revolutionize things. We probably should be implementing it. These are corporate AI tools. Probably we should be doing it. And once you implement it just for one thing, it's the same as any other technology. You start using it, you'll see the uses, you'll see how it can value. What time is it? Am I overtime yet? I'm not overtime, am I? I will not. Yeah, we're almost done. Next, another statistic. MSPs that have a proper knowledge base are 41% more profitable. Now, based on the last slide, do you think you can guess where that statistic came from? Yes, I made that one up also, but it might be true. And even if it isn't, all of us can agree that it would be a very helpful. Now, what do I mean by knowledge base? There are two types of knowledge bases when it comes to MSPs, in my opinion. One is, I remember clearly when I was at my early MSP days, we went from a mom and pop repair shop, and then slowly but surely we became more professional. We implemented ConnectWise, which was a huge jump. Like, anybody, what was it called again? Some Japanese ticket system we were using. Somebody knows what it is. The first one was, come on, Murray Bender, help me out here. Terrible ticket system. It was a Japanese ticket system. Yes, I knew you were going to know. Kayako. That was our first one. It's Indian? I thought it was Japanese. It sounds Japanese. Anyways, we tried it, and that was what we ran on for, and we switched to ConnectWise, and how revolutionary it was when we started being able to query previous tickets and understand clearly what may have taken place and proper notes and time management, etc. So a knowledge base for an MSP is very important. This tech should not be troubleshooting from scratch something that tech just finished. True? Now, if you have a knowledge base and you were able to feed it to AI, think about how revolutionary that could be for an MSP. If any of your techs could query an AI tool, and it would spit back out the information that tech needs with actual information without hallucinating, which you can do, that will be revolutionary. Now, the bad news is I am not an MSP. I don't know the name of that tool you should be using, but I'm pretty certain if you start doing the research tomorrow, which I urge you all to do, you should be able to do that. Scrap what? Scribe how? Good. Okay, here we go. You can all talk to my friend here. You're Rabbi Unger? Rabbi Unger. Talk to Rabbi Unger. He will tell you. Again, they're out there. If you do this, it will change things. Let's see what else we got. So here are some rewards you should be doing today, meaning everybody here should be doing. I'll start with the easy ones, research. We mentioned it before. Everybody should be doing research. Guys, stop doing Google searches, please. Can we just admit it just doesn't work anymore and start using ChatGPT or whatever you have to? That's an hour. Marketing. Anybody involved in marketing, you should be using AI. No question about it. They can do tremendous things. You don't need my interpretation. Scripting, script generation. What does this actually mean? And now, again, I am not specifically in this industry, but even in my little world where I rely on tech, the fact that I can write scripts when I don't know how to do scripts, I never did. I was always bad at it. Okay, and I'm still in the command prompt when all the big boys are in PowerShell. This is incredible. I can actually do things now that I always dreamt of doing. In a second, it pulls out whatever I need. Now, do me a favor and do yourself a favor. Read the script and try and understand what it's doing, because sometimes it will break things. I heard a guy talking about he refactored his code and he used this beautiful Claude, I think it was, and it was wonderful. It did thousands of changes. The code was incredible, except it just didn't work, and it never was going to work, or whatever. So it was very beautiful, but it didn't work. So yes, read that script. Make sure it doesn't break anything. Code writing, like we just said, is a very easy one. So I have these all other rewards today. Today, every business day out, seriously, you should be making sure all of the techs in this stack know these are the types of things we never expect to be doing with Google anymore. You should be using all sorts of AI, and the talented people will pick it up very quickly. Though that is today. What should we be doing tomorrow? Now, I'm putting this down tomorrow basically for that purpose. I don't know if AI can solve these solutions today, but they will get there very soon. And some of us who are more creative or maybe more adventurous should be considering doing them. What if you had a button to research your tickets or your logs, right? So you're working, so I'm going to use the log. I'll start with the tickets, so I do logs. So we'll do tickets for you guys. I'm sure you can, and I haven't tried it, but somebody can probably call me tomorrow and tell me that they already did it. Create a button in your ConnectWise that you can press that opens up a little window that pulls up ChatGPT, feeds the details of the ticket to the corporate ChatGPT, which you're not training on, and even if they are, the ticket detail is not so important. You don't have to put the customer name in, and give the technician a hand so that he doesn't have to copy and paste and start describing to ChatGPT every single time it needs to do this. They might want to tell me if this is very easily done, very hard to do, because I don't know. It should be relatively simple to do. You're talking about an API call with a couple of fields from the ticket, put it up and have it come back down. It should be very doable, I think. And again, I'm putting this up as tomorrow because I don't know how to do it today, but we should be thinking about this. Next, ticket summary. Okay, having again a button that just summarizes a long ticket for the technician. Does he have to read the whole email chain, Taka? Is that actually still necessary? Let it summarize and see if you can get accurate information. If you do, it could revolutionize things. Response generation to your clients. Okay, as you all know, IT guys are not very communicative. And when they talk to healthy human adults, things get very hairy. So if you have ChatGPT helping them respond in a proper fashion, it's a big deal. Now let's remember, how? Great, wonderful. But again, let's make sure that, yeah, but you shouldn't have to go in and out. I want this built into your actual systems. Wonderful. So now that response generation, once you have it, let me just try to open our minds. Imagine the owner or whoever the top dog at the MSP is decides, have the AI analyze all of the responses of all of my technicians and start scoring them with how well they're actually communicating with the customers. Because it can tell by the customer's response if the customer was happy or satisfied or the matter was concluded. There's so much you can do. They all have it. Good. I'm telling you, I'm the dinosaur in the room. All right, fair enough. Phone calls, I think we should all be thinking about this. Now I am very, very scared about recording my phone calls and having AI access my phone calls, but as a business owner, I think it'll be invaluable. I have employees that are dispersed all over the planet, working at all different hours of the day. I have no idea what happens in a phone call. If AI was translating those calls and giving me a summary of each one or helping me do analytics, that would be invaluable. It's being done. Of course it can be done, but are we all doing it? Everyone's doing it? Okay, again, I'm the dinosaur. Wonderful. Yeah.
Every single call goes in. If you select the language, it sends it off to, I forgot which one of the ones, no matter what language it is, it figures it out. Then it sends it over to OpenAI to transcribe it and then email it.
So I'll tell you, so that's not really what I had in mind, because I'm not looking for one-offs or meeting transcriptions. I'm looking to actually get all of my phone calls word for word into an AI model that I can then use to do other things. Good. Again, if it's doable, I'm thrilled. But so far, I can do like a transcription, but to put it all into a model and use that's where I want to go with it. All right. These are future ideas that I had. Automated documentation. We should be able to do that now. Now, none of you are doing documentation properly. Can we all agree? Okay, I know I can assume that. We should be doing it automated today. Okay, subscribing is very good. But we should be doing automated documentation. Again, not today, but these are the type of things, if you go to an MSP show and you start hearing of a company that's actually good at doing these things, these would actually get me excited if they can do it. Automate ticket picking and escalation, eventually. Now, I saw this guy today, I tell you, it was hilarious, because if you watch what he's doing, it's a really a recipe for disaster. So someone's trying to do it. They're not ready yet, but one day, the AI should be able to assign tickets properly. One day, just based on repetitive patterns, it's going to start learning. Now, this is devastating for me. I spent a whole lot of time as a dispatch manager, and I would have been replaced because really what I was doing wasn't very sophisticated. And I'll tell you a secret, after 6 months, I was losing my mind because I wasn't doing any tech. I was just sitting there moving tickets from person to person and keeping an eye on things. This is something which we can do very soon. Automate your configurations and changes. While a tech is making repairs, we should be able to know what he did. AI can do that now, and if we were able to capture that, that would be very interesting. Advanced business analytics. If you're the business owner and you care about what's going on in the business, there is a whole lot you can do. And finally, automate responses. I have never seen a chatbot yet that, like I said, I was totally thrilled with, that did everything I needed without a human. But we are getting there. And eventually, again, if you're a low-level technician, I apologize, but we might be able to replace a lot of them. Because yes, AI can already tell you to unplug your computer and turn it back on. We can do that. And as things get more advanced, eventually a lot of the low-level stuff should be able to get automated, or maybe just a little bit. I will close out, okay? Because finally I got to the end of my presentation, and I have a closing message, which I asked AI what I should say. What do you think AI wants you guys to all hear from me at this point? So this was AI's response. AI won't put MSPs out of business, but MSPs who use AI will outperform those who don't. Now, I actually responded, and I say, who said anything about going out of business? What made you think I was afraid of that? And it tried reassuring me that it didn't mean to offend me, but that, it's just a fear that people might have, so therefore, whatever, etc. Guys, it was a pleasure. I really appreciate your attention tonight. You may clap. My last slide is clap for me. We're due for another 15 minutes of networking, and I believe it's going to be a Marv. Is that accurate? It's going to be a Marv? We'll probably be a Marv at about 9:30. Thanks all very much. It's great meeting you all.